Hello. You are created by God and loved by your Creator. Let's get right into it. Hi, if you're new to my YouTube channel. No, it's not polished. It's not perfect. In fact, it's probably just a super basic video blog where I'm capturing content about myself and my life that I want to read, write, or speak about later. And hoping that for those of you who watch it, if you take away something of value, that you find it useful, or even the fact that you find it valuable. Thank you for watching. No, this is not a place where I'm all about, click, subscribe, like, not really necessary, but I will say if it makes a difference for you, that's awesome. But in the meantime, for tonight's topic, I'm super confronted by, a little embarrassed, yet and still it's kind of in my gut and nagging for me to share it. So tonight feels really, really personal and incredibly vulnerable. But maybe we'll laugh along the way a little bit and talk. So I'm sitting in my grandmother's chair because somehow I find it a little bit comforting, maybe even a little empowering to know that the legacy of women before me have left an impression on me, on the planet, and who they were. And I'm just thankful to walk after them and be inspired by the lives that they lived. So, the title of the show, I'm sure, looks really funny. As I'm clear, I'm going to title it Quarterly Bread. Yes, we'll get into that in just a moment. But for the time being, I like to start with a gratitude. So literally today, I'm just thankful for air in my lungs. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for love, support, the kindness of friends, phenomenal physicians, the creativity and problem solving that has made my life work. So that being said, just really, I think today I want to talk about the goodness of God, and the boldness of my ingratitude recently. So I think probably growing up, a good number of people are familiar with a prayer called the Lord's Prayer. And if you're not, it goes, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen." So I grew up learning that prayer. For someone, as I've participated in 12-step recovery, it's a prayer that's used there. And it's a prayer that I've learned to pray, both the words of the prayer, like you just heard, and the intention or the heart of the matter of each of those parts, acknowledging God as my Heavenly Father, acknowledging who He is, not only God, but in relationship to me, a Father, that His name is holy, and praying His names, praying His will on earth as it is in heaven, and even praying His provision, daily bread, for forgiveness of sins for those who have sinned against me. And that's a story in and of itself, and for the sins that I've committed, and including the sin of omission, like the things I didn't do. And then acknowledging who He is and that He's worthy of all glory, honor, and power. So it's been a beautiful prayer to know. However, most recently, I wasn't so excited about that prayer. So what I'm going to talk about is my ingratitude and how it showed up most recently, and the faithfulness of God as I reflect over my life. And the biggest reflection comes around my health and well-being, and how God has made a way when I didn't think it was possible. So backstory on this one. It's been about 22 years, and the diagnoses, to the best of my ability, and I don't know if I can say the diagnosis was given by my doctor or I presented him with the diagnoses, he affirmed it, and then did his best to treat as much as he could. So the diagnoses is something you can find in the DSM-5, and it's called PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder probably has a description all its own in that context. I'm not really going to focus on it here. I'm just introducing the fact that yes, it exists. It exists as a code or a mental health diagnosis, and it's difficult to say the very least. And at saying the most, it's literally life-threatening. So for me, it's been about 22 years, and I just completed that journey with a particular treatment, with a particular doctor's office, with curative results. I no longer deal with that diagnosis. Just yesterday, or 2 or 3 days ago, I pulled out all of the resources I used for measuring medications and treatments and making sure I took them daily throughout the day, all the things, and I actually put them in storage because, well, I don't use them anymore. I wanted to get rid of them, but I think they serve right now as mementos of remembering where I've come from. I think the easiest way to say it would be like stones of remembrance. They're stuff, but one day I'll either snap a photo of them and actually discard the physical items, or I'll use them as props and maybe something that I talk about. But they were very much a part of my life, and I just don't require it anymore. I'm really moved by the goodness of God in this area. However, it's amazing how quickly the lack of gratitude will show up when you've grown accustomed to the goodness of God. Like when you've grown accustomed to being cared for, when you grow accustomed to being taken care of, when you grow accustomed to, I don't even know what the word is. Like you get used to a routine or a pattern of being cared for in some way, and then you just expect that it's going to go that way, regardless of the shift or the change that may happen. And that's pretty much what happened for me. So, gosh, where to start? Probably shortly after the holiday season, coming through October, November, and December of 21. I had a tremendous shift. My doctor acknowledged it just before the holidays started, and after the holidays, January of 2022, I had the first experience of none of the symptoms of PMDD, or none of the symptoms of the chemical and the craziness of the chemical and hormonal imbalances that come as a result of that diagnosis. And I was so surprised at how great life was. Like it just the amount of hope I literally don't have words for. So I go through January and it's great. I go through February and it's great. I quit a job at the end of February. March 1st, I have no job. And I'm really able to be present to the newness of my health experience, who I am for myself, what my body feels like, what body sensations feel like, just going through a whole month being a woman of reproductive years, and experiencing my body and none of the craziness that comes with it, and really recognizing I can actually shift into this place of rest. This tension in my body is not something I worry about anymore, or the anxiety or the concern and being depressed in my mind or in my brain, like the chemicals and the imbalances and dealing with, neurotransmitters and serotonin and all this other kind of stuff. It's just not there. And I'm really thankful. And then there's to acknowledge the newness of being healed, of, that I'm at the effect of a cure now. All of the structures I had in place for years and years and years and years, including eating patterns, sleeping patterns, just the way I managed my well-being in general, were just suddenly had become obsolete. And now a habit I had formed needs to be retired, and step into the newness of creating, what does it mean for me to live well? There's a very different place from going from being sick and undiagnosed, sick with a diagnosis, being under treatment and aware that there is a prognosis that's possible, but you're still on the journey of getting well. And that by itself is its own journey. I mean, I fatigued of getting well because it was taking so long. And then you just stay the course and persevere and endure. And you take the treatment and you eat the food and you sleep the routine and you keep doing life while all these background or, these autopilot ways of living life. Like nobody has to intentionally think of, I don't know, just like how to eat on purpose so that you can function, just function. People with, autoimmune or maybe dietary restrictions, it's a thing. For me, I just had to eat something that let me go to school, keep my routine and live. And then also, not have it be so complex that it takes forever because, I'm also in school and working through jobs and all the other things of just life. So, you know, these patterns are shifting now. And for me, I'm just aware of the fact that they're shifting. And so I'm like, okay, well, now I'm well. I guess I should just go for living life well, and that, everything should just keep working out because now I have my health intact. And what I'm confronted and met with is just the obstacle of what it means to live life, still present to all of the love and the joy and the sorrow and the disappointment. And I think for me, the disappointment of some of the struggles that I've had after getting well, such as, getting my state license exam, getting my licensing exam passed, getting my state license, and then landing a job. And all through all these months, I've not worked consistently. And I've been more present to my health and well-being and thankful for it, yet and still there's this expectation that things should keep going well. And the fact that I hadn't landed a job as a massage therapist, and granted, this is all within a very short period of time, so it's not like it's been a long time. This has been like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I had this expectation that things should keep going well. And I just got hit with being present to the fact that I have gotten well so I can live and be present to the fact that sometimes life is sad and disappointing. For someone who's depressed, there's nothing like getting well so you can still be aware of the fact that life is sad and disappointing sometimes. You just kind of want, if you saw the movie Inside Out, sadness, love her. Love sadness. Joy I find a little irritating, but sadness is the best. But I want things to work out well, but there's something about the getting my hopes up and then, dealing with the fact that life sometimes hurts and disappoints. And in comparison to what I've experienced in my health, this is maybe not a big deal, but just getting on the other side of such a big victory, it just felt like a plummet of a disappointment. And I spent one evening, I just couldn't sleep. I was just so disappointed. I just sat up and I cried. Now, the week before that happened, of course, I had COVID. You guys remember when I was drinking the crazy yucky tea? I had COVID. And somewhere in there, I just got fed up with the fact that what it takes to make a difference in my life happens on a daily basis, and it's a daily commitment. And I just literally said to God, listen, I know in the Lord's Prayer, you say, give us this day our daily bread. Well, I don't want my bread daily. I want it quarterly. I want to know that I have a whole quarter full of bread. Like January, February, March, I want to know that I'm good. I don't want to have to figure this out day to day. I must have been in a really crazy place because that's literally what I told God. Why does it have to be daily? I want quarterly bread. Well, and then began the journey of learning to appreciate the daily bread. So last week was just a day full of gifts. I had my first new client. I had for my mobile massage company. I had a couple of interviews. I started my new job as a massage therapist. I landed a second job as a massage therapist. And even today, I was completing paperwork and training for those jobs. And I can see the hand of God's provision all over my life, like literally all over my life. So the fact of the matter is, though, is it literally came daily. And somewhere in the midst of this past week, God just reminded me, Deb, I actually gave you a season where you had everything you needed for long seasons, because where you were at mentally, emotionally, and physically, you couldn't deal with the external stress of what it would mean to live life just day to day. You couldn't do it. And so for me to give you those provisions for those seasons so you could focus on getting well was just the gift for that season. But you are well now. And I have new gifts in this new season. And so, you know, for me, when I kind of got that awareness in my heart, like I kind of sensed it, like that was the conversation between God and I was like, yeah, Abba's been good. Abba's been really, really good. And I'm well. I'm well. My life has not stopped moving forward quickly. Just the blessings in this past week, the people that I've met, the relationships I've built, have been a complete and total joy. And to work from a place of rest where I'm not preoccupied with trying to figure it all out now, I can figure it out along the way and be open to the gifts, the surprise, even some of the anticipation of the unknown, like an adventure that is available when I just live life today. You know, there's a beauty in relationships that I really enjoy. And so in relationships, something I really enjoy is anticipation. Like I enjoy looking forward to something. Like I just enjoy looking forward to something. And I don't really necessarily need to know what the something is. Now, do not get that mixed up with surprises, because I can't stand those. Yeah, I'm still a control freak, can't stand surprises. I am likely to hurt someone if I am surprised. It occurs as scared first. Literally, I think I smacked somebody or punched someone in the face the last time I was surprised. It was terrible. Anyway, but the space of anticipation, there is a newness to life on the day-to-day when I don't know what's coming. I've set my calendar up. I've got appointments scheduled, but I don't know what's coming. Today I had the most beautiful experience of meeting a new client who has a gift and talent in her heart and her mind for caring for humanity in a way that I didn't even know was even possible, but it matches the dream and the vision and the passion God's put in my heart. And it came out of meeting her as a client. And I'm just thankful for the surprise in the day, the gift. Like I anticipated I would have a great experience, you know, being of service to a new client, but I did not anticipate meeting someone who had a like-minded heart and passion for people. So yeah, I said surprise. I noticed that. I said surprise and I didn't karate chop anybody. Like surprises and like a surprise party, that no. God surprising me, I think I'm a little bit okay with. I still yell at him about it, you know, quarterly bread and all. So I have come to this new place of peace that moment to moment, daily, he's faithful. I don't have to know where my provision is coming from right now to trust and know that he's already provided. There's a level of flexibility and a gift in the daily provision. You know, one of the things that I don't miss from being sick, I literally ate oatmeal almost literally every morning to get one of my medications down, literally every morning. And when I got well, I just was so disoriented to like my relationship to food. You guys, I went to the grocery store and just stood there like, what do I eat? I mean, in that moment, the Holy Spirit was like, yeah, you're going to have to make multiple trips to the store because you don't have to bulk grocery shop and like make meals for, weeks and weeks on end just so you know that it's there so you don't miss something to take with your medication. I don't take the medication anymore. And yeah, I still need to eat. And I'm just surprised at what my food options are. I'm overwhelmed. Like I go to the grocery store and I don't even know what to get. So I only pick up a few things and I bring them home and I enjoy them. And I discover, do I want to eat that or do I want to try something else? So it looks like I shop almost, not quite daily, but close, going to the grocery store. I mean, it's a very real, tangible experience of myself and my body and my own skin on a daily basis in light of being well. So, gosh, there's so much to say about this journey, but I want to encourage you is a if there is a experience for you in your life for yourself with a not enoughness or some degree of fear or need for control or um, this need to know, it's a journey letting that go. I'm not even gonna say, oh yeah, as so cliche as it is, just let it go. My favorite line, let it go and let God. It's just, oh my gosh. It's great. And for me, the letting go and the resting and the trusting is a daily, not even daily, let's be honest. It's a moment to moment experience, like minute by minute, just being aware. Where do I hold on? What am I hanging on to? What am I clinging to? What am I trying to control? What am I trying to leverage? Like somehow make it happen or prevent something from happening. Instead of being in the space of adventure and at ease and at peace with not knowing and knowing that you know the one who knows. Like God's big enough. He'll solve it, work it out, figure it out, that whole thing. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. I just had to acknowledge and come clean. Yeah, my ingratitude for the daily provision of God's faithfulness, even in light of such an incredible health journey and healing journey. I am humbled yet again that my life has been preserved for this time and this season, and He's created me for something. And more of my journey around my health, I think I'll definitely share with you. But I wanted to just be honest, even on the healed side of that journey. There are so many lessons I'm learning now, and I am thankful for the dailiness of His provision, for the mercies that are new every morning, for the steadfast love that never ceases. So I just have nothing to say but thank you. Thank you, Abba, for restoring my health and making me whole. And, all of those things that I've put away in storage from my health journey, those memorials, those stones of remembrance, those moments of awareness of His goodness, they speak volumes to me, and I cannot take for granted the fact that I'm still on the planet. Yeah. Some of the research I discovered around premenstrual dysphoric disorder is that 1% of women will complete on a suicide because of how dysfunctional and how severe the dysphoria is. So in 22 years, including this year, that's about 264 times that I chose to stay alive, for lack of a better term, because the dysphoria is severe. It is really severe. And it takes something. So to have my body restored and my heart restored and my mind renewed and my And to be present here to record and talk about this, it's definitely a gift. And it's so great to be here to declare the goodness of God in the land of the living. All right, I'll catch you later.